Good morning. I'm Rocky Gilbert, Operations Section Chief for Calf Canyon and Hermit Peak Fire here for your June 13th update on those fires. So just updating folks on kind of where we're at this morning. Still have the repair work going on. Most of the repair work has been completed on the private lands down in this south zone of the fire. We'll still have a couple pieces of equipment trying to pick up some stuff that we've discovered over the last couple days. Most of the equipment, though, is going to be moving on to these really long dozer lines that are off the south end there, and that's going to take them a few days to get that work completed. Those were some contingency lines that were put in, clear back the early part of May when our team was here the first time. So that work will continue with the heavy equipment moving around into this Charlie Delta Echo on the west side of the fire there. They're almost complete with all their chipping operations, and then they're going to be starting to look at some of the repair work that they can do on this northern end of the Skyline Trail, kind of in that area where they're working. You know, that Skyline Trail goes all along in the wilderness, clear up to the north end. So they're going to be looking at the stuff outside of the wilderness for some of the work going on there. Moving into the suppression side of things, I think the key for folks to know is that we're going to be looking at our weather matrix up here. We've got 2 more days of critical fire weather. So red flag warnings, higher temperatures, very low RHs, not good recovery overnight. The winds, a good thing about that is that they're in our favor. So that southwest wind coming from this direction, pushing that fire back into itself. So even though the conditions are prime, we have favorable overall. The piece of ground that we've been working up in the wilderness in what we call Division India, in that Mora flat area, we kept crews spiked out. They came off the line and rested, but we kept a couple crews up there last night just to be there in case something happened. We did not do any firing along that line yesterday. It is still a tool that's available to us, and if necessary, we do have the plans to put that in action. But right now, again, looking at what we're trying to do, you know, a lot of fire has been across this watershed, and we want to minimize any more acres burned. But again, we don't want to getting across our line and getting into a whole new chunk of the wilderness as well. So we won't burn if we don't need to, but if it's pushing our hand, that's a tool that we will use moving forward for the next few days at least to get us through this red flag warning. We still have an initial attack responsibility underneath what we call our temporary flight restriction area. It's about 8 miles both sides of our fire that we have responsibility to respond to new fires. They did pick up one yesterday off of the 518 road north of Las Vegas, about milepost 6 or 7, I think it was. It got a couple acres. They were able to take care of it. Cooperated with some local fire departments. It was up near Sapio. So that went pretty well. We'll continue to have that responsibility around the fire. I think the biggest thing going forward is today's the last 24 hours of Team 2, Southwest Team 2 being in charge of the fire. Tomorrow, Southwest Team 5 with Mark Bernal as the IC will be taking over. My counterpart, Heath Barker. Heath, if you want to come up here. He'll be taking over these Facebook briefings. So welcome, Heath. Anything you'd like to say to the public as we move forward?
I'll be here every morning trying to make sure you guys get all the pertinent information that you need.
All right. And with that, that's the end of our briefing for this morning.